the biggest headline last night. Lakers bounced in 5 games. So, yep, Anthony Edwards did it again.
Let me say
Another
something real
legendary
quick, man.
player. Hall of Famer falls to AE. Durant, Jokic, and now Bron, which in that order since last season. He gets his revenge back as Timberwolves take down the Lakers in 5 against Luka Doncic. There's backstory to that. Obviously, Luka was traded for AD this season, and now they're bounced in the first round. So they had no center, and they got destroyed by Rudy Gobert
Oh
in the
Lord,
paint.
Lord have mercy.
27 points, 24 rebounds, a career night. And
Get
then
some
how about
props to
LeBron
Rudy.
only scoring 5 points in the last two fourth quarters in the series, but this is supposed to be the GOAT.
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Listen, Anthony Edwards. I have to publicly apologize for the disrespect because I have gone on record saying John Morant is better. John Morant just got swept. You almost swept the second best player ever and quote unquote the best young player in the league. Well, let me tell you something now, guys. He's not the best young player in the league. Anthony Edwards is. Luka is not. Okay, Luka doesn't play defense. I watched last night's game, and my heart was
Pitiful.
just my heart like hurt watching him play defense.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
Played
It is.
nothing.
It's embarrassing. I'm not kidding. And
They're
the,
telling
the
people is Nico Harrison on to something?
bro, listen. The thing
Don't go
is
that
that
far.
shocks me is that when he was younger in Dallas, he used to play defense. He used to be able to jump up super high. He still can, I'm sure, but he used to be way more athletic than this. And I don't know what Nico might have been on to something. I know it's way too early to tell because in the long run they still have Luka for the rest of his career most likely, unless he decides to leave for some odd reason. But I really, I'm really trying to come up with an idea on why he doesn't play defense. I don't get it. I saw in the first quarter he got blown by 5 or 6 times for a basket. Unreal. And it was disgusting. People were starting to like be mad, throwing hands up in the crowd. I was watching the crowd reactions, and it was disgusting. He had 28 at one point, and he was scoring. He's a scoring machine. We understand that he's a bucket, but Anthony Edwards is the truth, man. He is literally the truth. Got a gold medal this past summer, being the sixth man off the bench, being able to talk smack to Steph Curry and LeBron James and Kevin Durant, learning how to shoot better than them, learning their shooting motions, being the best 3-point shooter in the league this year, being able to carry his team through Lakers in five, all this Lakers in seven when they were down 3-1. Anthony Edwards is the truth, and he's the best young player in the league right now. And I can humbly say that I was wrong. And John Morant has a lot of work to do, and Zion Williamson has a lot of work to do.
I have a direct response.
Go ahead.
I have direct response. I love Anthony Edwards. You know that. But I don't think that, at least not based off of the game that happened last night, that you can put him over Luka. I think the work that he did early in the series was the determining factor, but not last night. He went 0 for 11 from 3. He was 5 for 19 from the field.
The rest of the series, he's dropping dimes on him.
That's what I'm
just
saying.
dropping
That
straight
last night was
buckets.
Yeah,
pretty much an
he's talking
outlier.
crap, and that's
Yeah,
when it should have been.
last night was the show of Lakers need a big man. Every other game was the Anthony Edwards show. There's
That
no
was the yes.
debate about that.
Just
bro.
don't base it off last night. Is all I'm saying.
I'm basing off the entire
he didn't
series
do
and
it.
the entire year. Luka wasn't available a lot of the year. I understand that. But then he got traded because he can't play defense. And what did we see last night in an elimination game? No defense being played. No effort whatsoever. Anthony Edwards played defense the entire series, and he's going to continue until he loses.
And
And
you see,
that's the other thing.
Nico,
Lakers looked incredibly tired as well.
Nico Harrison was in his pajamas, smiling somewhere last night,
Yeah, he was smoking a blunt, for
watching
sure.
that performance. Look. I'm not going to say he's on to something. Okay, I still think that
I think
trade
he's
he
crazy.
made is asinine, and I just
I agree.
don't. I think that's the most ridiculous trade I've ever seen in NBA history. But a trade I do want to bring up, the Karl Anthony Towns trade.
Dude,
Perfect
working
for the
out.
Timberwolves. Perfect. Perfect for the Timberwolves. Look at what Julius Randle did last night too. He put up 23. He wasn't too bad himself. I
looks
think
so
that
much
this
more athletic.
Minnesota Timberwolves team, I will go out and say that Anthony Edwards will win a championship sooner than Luka Doncic will. Because look, the Lakers, you're going to get if you're a LeBron fan, he's coming back. This wasn't his last game, so everybody who's posting edits and stuff about him
We
right
do
now,
have
is like,
some
oh, this
post
is his
game
last game.
sound too.
It's
But
just complete crap. I mean, LeBron is coming back. You think that LeBron James is not going to want a farewell tour? Like, come on.
I agree.
They asked him about it. He was like, oh, I'm 50-50. That it was a couple months back, I think, when they were asking about his if he wanted a retirement tour, it's LeBron James, dude. He's gonna want a retirement tour, and he's gonna get one. I think it's gonna come either next season or the season after. But look, he's not the Bron that we knew. He's not the Bron that went to, what was it, like 9 or 10 straight NBA finals. He's just not that guy anymore. Like, he's a good number two. Don't get me wrong. He's still a great player, but he's not a team that is going to like will them to a championship anymore. And I think that he and Luca could, if he does stay for a couple more seasons, they could have, some great runs. They could get to the Western Conference Finals, to the finals. But I strongly believe that Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves, if they keep making good moves, are going to be set up better in the long-term future to win a championship sooner than this Lakers team will with Luka Doncic. And as another point, this might be, you might think this is a stretch, but I honestly think that Luka's heart is not in it in LA. He was so dedicated to that Dallas Mavericks team,
I agree.
and when they trade him, it just shows no loyalty. And I honestly think that a thing like loyalty in the NBA goes such a long way when your heart is in it and you have passion for that team. He got traded from Dallas and he didn't even know about it until it happened. And I just don't think that, maybe that can explain why he's not playing defense. Again, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but I just think his heart is not as in it as he was in Dallas.
All right, well, we can let's listen to LeBron real quick on them getting Luka and trading AD.
Yeah, anytime you make an acquisition or a big acquisition in the middle of the season, it's always going to be challenging. And not only for me, but for AR and for the rest of the group on how we're playing. I mean, we went from, the ball, wanting to touch the ball in AD's hands, either off pick and rolls or off post ups or off elbow catches. But it started with myself and AR kind of handling the ball handling, and then making sure we got 80 the ball. And the whole obviously dynamic changed. When we made the acquisition of Luka to, how can we change our approach to best fit his game, and how can we center our game around his. I think it's always challenging when you make like I said, a big acquisition like that. There were times where we, obviously didn't look so well, a couple games early on. But I think we kind of figured it out, kind of later in the season. The more and more games we had, I still don't think we had enough time to mesh. But for the time that we had, I thought we ended the regular season very well.
Didn't have enough time. It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy. And I get it that you didn't have a center at all. And like I said, like you're seeing him talking about AD a bit. The center position is very important in the NBA, and it comes back to, does defense win championships?
My thing is with the trade, man. Why not get like Derek Lively out of it or something? Not Derek Lively, but like I don't know, go get another center. I know you tried to get Mark Williams, but he wasn't going to be the end all be all, in my opinion. But if you trade AR and like with AD and get Luka and Lively, I feel like that might have been a better situation. Or just don't trade him at all. And I'm gonna say this now, bro. If Anthony Davis was still on the team, this would be a series. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
This would be a series.
100%.
Anthony Davis gave so many teams an issue. As much as I don't like, how he gets injured all the time, his game is unbelievable. He's a top 75 player for P6. Like he's literally, he would have made this a genuine series and made sure that this is not a 3-1 difference. It would have been like 2-2 probably right now, or maybe the Timberwolves be up 3-2. Who knows? But it wouldn't be this. And just this is why I try to tell people that defense matters when you're pushing for a championship. We see it right here. We have an all world player in Luka that only plays all world on one side. You have to have both sides at least. At least Curry tries to play defense. I'm not trying to bring up Curry right now, but I'm thinking of an example. I'm trying to think of an example of who people think doesn't play defense, and that's one of the players that just came up to in my head. Or at least Dame tries to play defense when he's healthy, right? Like Luka doesn't try, and it shows, and it showed last year in the finals as well. So that's just my thought about it.
He's kind
balls on Redick too.
He's
balls on Redick.
I'm not gonna say become because I think he's been for a while, but there's such like diva tendency I feel like in Luka Doncic,
Always
and
been,
just
bro.
yeah, and I mean I don't know. I feel like he thinks he's better than he is. Again, that's not to say that he's not a good player because he's an
Nice.
amazing player. Like you said, he's an all-world player and he's a fantastic all-star. He will win you many games and anybody in, the situation for the Lakers would make that trade. But you're absolutely right. If Anthony Davis is here, they are not done yet. They are not getting eliminated in 5 games. And if the Lakers can, go out and get a center, that's great. When LeBron's talking about not enough time, I get it. Luka Doncic was hurt. It takes a while to mesh team chemistry and stuff like that. We saw something similar, I think, with the Bucks with when we got Dame. You know, but I mean, you're still not going to get anywhere close to a championship if you don't have a center on the team. So that has got to be priority number one in LA for next season. Otherwise, we're just going to see much of the same that we saw here in these playoffs.
How about LeBron scoring 5 points in the last two fourth quarters?
That's what I'm saying. He's not a team or not a guy that can carry a team to a championship anymore. He's just gotten past that point in his career now. He's on the horizon. He's been on the downhill for a little bit, and again, he's still an amazing player. So LeBron fans, don't come after me, but he's just not the guy we saw on those like 2015 through 2018 Cavs teams, especially 2017, 2018, where he was just kind of like willing the team to a championship, to a finals appearance. He's just not that guy anymore. He's kind of taking a back seat to a guy like Luka Doncic now.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. I feel like,
Right?
you
Yeah.
know,
No.
he's 40 years old, man. Like we
Yeah.
understand that he's not gonna be that guy, but I mean,
But
for
then
still
Luka
being a
needs to step up.
right, for still being at least a top 10 player on the planet in LeBron James, I would say personally, he's 40 putting up 25 a game. I mean, you got to put up more than 5 points in two fourth quarters, man. I mean that the other day when he put up zero and had that crazy foul on the wrist. I mean, you can't. I mean, he knows that. He doesn't think that was a foul or anything, but you got to be able to put up points like that. And they were making sure that he was a non-factor, which is great coaching by the Wolves staff. So, I mean, as much as we want to blame LeBron, we got to give credit to the Wolves. They really prioritize these, you know, these
Just
these plays better.
just a quick thing, Nas. I think that there is a conversation. Not saying that he's not, but I think there's a conversation to say that LeBron James is not a top 10 player in the league anymore.
I don't know, man. He was putting up. I saw him drop
Not
40.
anymore.
I saw him drop 40 at the age of 40, man. I don't know. I know Mike did it once, but
Look, he's still a great player, still a top player in the league, but
he's
I
in
think
shape.
there
He's in
is a
better shape than
conversation that
everybody.
he's at the back end of that top 10, if not
Oh
out
yeah.
of there right
No, no,
now.
I'm not saying he's top five because he's not.
I think he's
I'm
between
saying
12 and 15.
I think he's
That's a
between
fair
10
point
and
there.
like 13. I can't. He's in better shape than majority of the league. If you got to think about it. Some of these players don't want to play games, and LeBron James tries to play every game he can, even though it may look like he doesn't at the end of the season when he has this miraculous injury sometimes. But I mean, when he plays at his highest potential, he's still better than a lot of the league, and
Here,
that's a lot to say at the age of
That's
40.
why it's important to keep these veterans around too, is because we talked about him trying to play every game. Chris Paul played every single regular season game this year.
Think
These
about
honestly
that's
got to let these
crazy.
kids know what ball used to be like.
Yeah, bro. People used to do this all the time. They used to play 82 games every year, and now people don't do it. Besides Mikal Bridges, that's the only person I think of when you
He's a
you can think of
workhorse.
a young player who plays every game. He's the
I
only
don't want to
player I
play
know of.
because it's Wednesday and it's not national TV.
Even Brooke Lopez plays every game. He played like 75 games this year. Like, what are we talking about here, man? Like LeBron James to me, I know his longevity is amazing. We all know that, but when it comes to this game that we're playing today, like it's so much more fast. It's more skilled than when he joined the league. This maybe is not as physical, but it's still a physical game. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I still think he's at least 10. I don't think he's top five at all because top five players are miles ahead of him right now. But it wouldn't be. I feel like it's not that crazy to put him at 10.
here's Reddick on the last two fourth quarters.
Did great in the fourth quarter. Um, Missed shots at the rim, missed a bunch of threes. Shot 12 for 52 for the series in the fourth quarter from three. On top of that, you you lose 2 games in Minnesota, -12 in scoring opportunities, -13, and then you lose by 20 tonight. Just too many turnovers, too many offensive rebounds, and I think given the struggles scoring the ball, particularly early in the series, there's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off. You could say, "Oh, play a center." We couldn't score, so there's a trade-off to everything with this. But we obviously put ourselves in a position to be in the game.
So basically, what he's saying is you don't have a center, and you didn't play a center in the last 2 fourth quarters.
Well, he couldn't. Just think about who their center is, dude. Jackson Hayes. I said this as soon as the trade happened. If you trust Jackson Hayes to carry your interior defense or interior offense in the playoffs, you're losing your mind. That's why the acquisition of Mark Williams was so huge, and why it didn't go through. I don't know why. It was physical, failed his physical, whatever. Jackson Hayes was never the answer, and picking up Alex Len over Dwight Howard, I still don't get it. I understand Dwight's old, but it's Dwight Howard, and he's putting better effort in than Alex Len. So that's just my opinion. I'm not a GM, so don't
He's
take
not
my
fending
word.
off Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle.
Right.
No chance.
So I mean, I understand it from a coaching perspective. Like, couldn't really do much. Play a center, yeah, I get it, but Jackson Hayes is not the answer. We've seen it the entire series and the entire back half of the season. He's just not it. When AD got traded, I was shocked. I was like, Jackson Hayes? That's it? Like, no offense to him. He's in the NBA. I'm not. But, I mean, it's levels to this.
Do you think that moving off the Lakers for a second, like switching it to the Timberwolves, I think that they are going to go to the Western Conference Finals. I think that they are going to beat whoever comes out of that Rockets-Warriors series, which I think that the Rockets-Warriors series is going to 7. I know that Nas doesn't think so. I know that he's confident in Steph Curry, but there is still, I think, a legitimate chance that the Rockets come out of this series. I think that they're going to take Game 6.
Jeez.
They're going to take Game 6 at home. It's going to come down to a Game 7.
Next week will be very interesting.
I'm taking Curry in Game 7, dude.
I will too, but I think that the Timberwolves can beat the Warriors. I think that they absolutely can beat the Warriors.
They can, but they're not. Okay, I'm telling you that now. So listen,
I'll pick them. I think the
I'll
Timberwolves
tell you
the
this.
Finals.
I'll tell you this. Okay, we got the best point guard ever. We got playoff Jimmy. We got Draymond Green, top 5 defender ever, top 5 coach ever, and we're playing the best young player in the league, Anthony Edwards. And we're playing right now. They're playing Jalen Green, who is just the most wishy-washy player I've ever seen in my life. And yes, they got beat last night, but I think that's because of fatigue, which is cool. And I think that Kerr probably wants to just take it home and finish them off there. But when it comes to these young players and Curry, the difference between Curry and LeBron right now is that Curry can keep up with every young player in the league. It doesn't matter what team you're on. It's a matter of can you keep up with Curry. You see the way he plays? He's off ball, going around screens, going to the top of the key, making these threes, and on everybody. Doesn't matter who it is. And I know what you're gonna say. Anthony Edwards plays defense. Anthony Edwards does this and that, bro. He couldn't keep up with Kyrie Irving last year. Do you remember that series? He could not keep up with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving's nice, man. And me and Jalen were having this debate yesterday. Chris Paul, Kyrie Irving, yes, but Kyrie Irving was gassing Anthony Edwards. Imagine what Steph Curry's going to do. I'm simply.
Mike Conley could honestly keep a closer eye on him than most people would think.
And we'll see about that. He's older than Steph too, so he played a lot of games too this year. Another veteran that's great at doing that. So
if Curry has a bad shooting night, though, the Warriors are
Jimmy Butler's there. It doesn't matter. Jimmy Butler's there. It does not matter. You see what I'm trying to say? There's an answer for everything now,
dude. And Jimmy Butler is going to be fireworks.
Exactly.
It'll be a great series.
Ant's thing is talking trash, and he's getting the 2 biggest trash talkers in the league, and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. So I'm just saying,
here we go.
Draymond against Rudy Gobert is going to be cinema. Oh my God, they hate each other.
Before we move on, we're going to take a quick look at the playoff bracket. Warriors got dog walked in Houston last night, 131-116, but it's all right. They'll probably bounce back tomorrow. Pistons pulled the game out late on Tuesday to go back to Detroit 3-2 now, so it gets a little interesting here. They went back to Detroit, while Boston is headed back to the second round, obviously, and Indiana bounces Milwaukee. We'll get into that in the next segment in like 35 seconds. And
Shout out Cavs, man.
OKC and Cleveland just been chilling for a week. So that's pretty much the playoff bracket right now, as you see on the screen. And